Hey, my name's Alasdair Cunningham. Are you an entrepreneur? If you are, amazing. If not, don't worry. You can learn these skills. It just needs your mindset to be in the right place, your implementation, and the wantingness to learn. Now let's look at the definition of an entrepreneur. Google defines it as somebody who's prepared to invest in a business or businesses in the hope of making profit. Essentially, if you're prepared to take financial risk for financial gain, you can define yourself as an entrepreneur. Now, I always have been. Since a very, very young age, I've always been able to spot opportunities, and I've always been prepared to take financial risk in the hope of making more money. Like, it's just in me. If it's in you, you know you get this, okay? It's like that inner business entrepreneur mindset has always been in me. Okay, so I've invested in over 14 businesses. Some have been good, some have been a complete and miserable failure. But do you know what? I've learned so many lessons. I look back at some of these failures and I think, Alasdair, you were crazy. What were you thinking? Like, seriously, come on. But it is what it is. It's all part of the journey. It's all part of the life lessons, the learnings on the way. So you're going to fail. Get used to it. Now, as an entrepreneur, what have you been doing during the lockdown situation? I hope you ain't been sat on your ass watching Netflix all day, because if you have, you've wasted the gift of time that you've been given. Now, you can use this opportunity good or bad. You can use it to sit on your ass and watch Netflix all day and do nothing, or you can use it to build your business, grow your opportunities, build your network list, build your investors, build your opportunity list. I've used this to tidy up all my businesses, to make sure that all the things that I've been putting off because I've not had time, I've done. For instance, I've wrote the second edition of my book. I've started rewriting this when we went into lockdown. I'm now at a point where I've now got copies. I've literally got copies on my desk. I've got boxes of the things. So from rewriting it, getting it proofread, getting it then uploaded, getting it printed, and they're now here. I was putting off doing that for months, but I've done it in the space of a week just to get it done and get it out there. I've also recorded the audio version of this, so that will be available on Audible very, very soon. I've also started my YouTube channel. 15 videos I've done now, and thank you guys. You guys are subscribing and you're watching, and I hope you're finding it useful. I've also tidied up all my business paperwork, all my branding, all that side of things to make sure my business stands out. So I'm ready. As soon as we come out of this, we're going to go. But what I want to talk to you about today is, as an entrepreneur, you're supposed to be able to spot money-making opportunities. So during this time, I've also done some education, and I've been learning as much as possible about trading because I want to invest some money into the stocks. A couple of weeks ago, I finished a course I was doing, and I decided to just invest some money. But understand this, trading's about supply and demand. And I was spotting opportunities, so I was thinking to myself when I was filling my car up one day, Christ, the price of petrol's low. That got me looking, and then I realised that oil was actually tanking. Going, done. At one point, oil was worthless. At one point, it was at zero. Not for very long, but it was. Now, the thing is, think about it. Supply and demand, okay? So there's a massive supply of fuels at the minute because people aren't using them, because there's no demand. Oil reserves all around the world are brimmed. They're full because people aren't driving. There's no trains, there's no buses, there's no coaches, there's no lorries, there's no planes. Nobody's using fuel, so there's obviously no demand for it. What does that mean for the price? What that means is the supply's high, demand's low, so if they want to sell the supply, they have to drop the price. Think of it like HMO rooms. If you've got a HMO property and you're renting the rooms out, but there's another 50 HMOs in your area, what's going to happen? The supply is really high, the demand's okay, the price has to go down if you want to get people in there. But look at it the other way around. Look at it if the demand's high, but the supply's not high. Supply's low, demand high. What can you do with your price? Lift the price. So knowing that fuel was down, I knew that it would come back. I just didn't think it would come back so quickly. And I actually made quite a bit of money doing this. Okay, so before we go into this, let me just have a quick disclaimer. I am in no way advocating trading unless you know what you're doing. Now, I don't know particularly loads about it, but I've done a couple of courses on it, and I've got a little bit of basic knowledge on it, so I'm comfortable with my level of risk. So again, before you commit to doing this, before you actually put any money into it, understand that over 75% of people that do this lose money, and your money is at risk. So that is entirely your decision whether or not you proceed with doing this. what I'm going to show you is exactly what I've been doing to generate thousands of pounds worth of income in the last 2 or 3 weeks. How anybody can do this. I'm no expert. How anybody can do this. I love property. Property is my thing. However, I do want to get more and more deeper into trading. So let me just jump in and show you what I've been doing. Okay, so here is the proof of deposit. So when I started doing this was the 5th of May 2020. And this is a real money account. This is not a demo account. So I invested £1,000 on the 5th of May. You can see here it was approved, and there's the transaction number. You can also see here, next line up, on the 18th of May, which is less than 2 weeks later, I withdrew £3,081 just here. Approved, settled, withdraw. And it's back, as you can see there, back to the same card ending 4111. So, what that tells you is I put in 1,000 and I took out 3,000. Okay, so that's a £2,000 profit. So the reason I bought into oil was because of basic supply and demand. Now, the reality is this. Think about it. We're all in lockdown, we're all at home, nobody's flying, nobody's driving, nobody's going by train, nobody's going by bus, nobody's going by coach. Businesses are shutting down, so they're not using fuel to heat their buildings and to run their factories and warehouses. So there is a massive supply of fuel that is building up, but there's very little demand for it. So as a result, and you've seen this in the forecourts, the fuel prices have dropped to the lowest levels since like the late 90s. Like I filled my car up the other day for like £40, and normally it's like £80. So it's like no, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I filled it up for like £40-45. It's normally like 60-65. So I've definitely, we're seeing a massive saving on fuel. We're definitely going to see the price of fuel increase. 100%. There's no two ways about it. It will definitely 100% increase. So I noticed that the price of fuel in the stock market was incredibly low. When I bought in at $21 per barrel, and I cashed out at $34 a barrel. So that was a nice little increase for me, and I'll show you I'll show you this now. So like I say, put 1,000 in, pulled out 3,081. The actual trade that I done for this to get to this was through oil, and I actually withdrew at £4,081.79. But this is how I do everything. Once I am in profit, I withdraw, and then I leave some in the account. So I had £4,081 on my account, which I had available to me, which I could withdraw. I then left £1,000 in, so I could then trade again, and I withdrew 3,000. I'm therefore £2,081 currently in profit. That money's in my bank. It is there, it's in, all good. Now, I left £1,000 in and I reinvested that. So let me just jump on plus 500 and see where we stand at present. Okay, so it's not looking great at the minute, which is good. I don't mind this because it is what it is. So at present, my £1,000 is now worth £751.25, and I'm now £248 in negative. I'm currently invested in the USA 500, which is basically the 500 listed companies in the USA. Okay, so here we are. So look at where it's been recently. On the 13th of May, it was up here, way over. Let me just get the right. So here we are. Look, it was there. 13th of May, it was at a high of $113.50, and now we're down at $18-19. So the current rate is $18. So I'm £187 negative at the minute, but I'm sure that will turn around because it's going to come back. It's not going to stay down forever, so I'm sure it's going to come back. So like I say, I'm no expert in this, but you can clearly see the proof is in the pudding. I've just shown you the screenshots of the money being transferred back to my bank. I've still got £831 in here in equity. I could cancel this trade now if I got nervous, and I could stop the trade now and I'd have £864, or I can just let it ride. It's not my money at the end of the day. It's the plus 500's money. It's the profit from the previous deals I've done. And this is what I do with everything. Like I'm a pretty much semi-professional blackjack player. I make good money from playing blackjack. Like seriously good money from playing blackjack. But it's because I know what I'm doing. and I know the mathematics and the numbers behind the game, and I know that if you play it correctly, you limit the house edge down to a very small percentage, and as a result you can win a considerable amount of money. I'm looking at blackjack and trading as the same sort of type of investment. It's risky, of course it's risky, but if you know what you're doing, then you limit that risk. Now, entrepreneurs take financial risk for financial gain. So I'm not advocating gambling, or I'm not advocating trading. All I'm saying is if you're prepared to take that risk and you understand it, then why not invest in it? Like I say, that's what I've been doing. So far this month, plus 500, I'm £2,000 in profit. I've got another 820 in equity there, so I'm nearly £3,000 in profit at the minute. Let's just wait and see what happens. I think it's a very clever way to make money in the background. However, what I would say is you need to be educated. Like, I'm not educated on plus 500 or trading, really. I've done a couple of 1 day, 2 day seminars on it, but really I'm not like super clued up on it. So that's something I'm going to do. I'm going to put that £2,000 profit into education, into actually learning about the ways and the tells and what you can do to really lower the risk. But I think that's what it comes down to. Education lowers risk. That's what it comes down to. So as you can see, a couple of £1,000 in profit. I'm not advocating that anyone does this. I'm just telling you what I've done. This is what I've done. So hope you found that useful. So as you can see, £1,000 in. 2 weeks later, £3,000 out. That means £2,000 profit. Still got £800 in the account to reinvest. Hopefully that will go up. If not, if it goes down, so be it. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm prepared to take financial risk for financial gain. So if you are, then you do it. But make sure you're doing it with a little bit of understanding, knowing what you're doing. Don't just throw money in and hope. That's not how it works, okay? Remember, supply and demand, all that sort of stuff. Get educated, learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. Simple as that. My name's Alasdair Cunningham. I hope you found this useful. If you have, drop a comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn notifications on, and I'll catch you next time.